Well, could it be Wednesday at 6 p.m. again? I do believe it is. I'm Dave Fennoy, and this is Ask Dave Fennoy Anything. How's everybody doing today? Is anybody there? Is anybody there? I know a lot of folks are, if not there already, are heading for Atlanta for VO Atlanta. I would have been there myself. I was there this time last year. Hope to be there this time this year. And here you come, Carla, Janet, Mark, Preston, Jeremy. By the way, Janet, I just publicly and online here, what a marvelous, marvelous, marvelous narration that was that you did, that you are in the running for an award for. Just really good work, really good work. Chris Michaels, while everyone is in, I'm here with you, yeah. Well, hopefully I'll be there next year. In the meantime, buddy of mine, Zach Hanks, is holding down the fort with voice acting for video games, and he's great. You know, I can't say anything bad about it. We've worked together on a number of things. He was an voice actor and director here in Los Angeles for a long time, became a professor at the university level in Texas, and now lives in Atlanta and is doing big things. Anyway, hey Dave, great info everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark, and I appreciate you keeping me posted on those things you keep me posted on. Sometimes, I say, oh, you got a message from Mark Preston. And I look and it's just, oh no, he just put my name in there so I would see what he was posting, and it's always good stuff. Anyway, oh, Joyce E. Rutledge. Oh, from way back in the day. Makes the heart flutter. Anyway, let's get to it. I've been working a lot lately, and I'm not saying that to brag. It's just, I enjoy working as much now as I ever did. Got booked on well, it's actually not a new game. Can't tell you what it is. It's been around since 2005, but I'll be one of the main characters, working with some really fine talent. And if I have one complaint about it, it's a battle game. And I've been in a number of battle games, but I haven't had to do this much shouting in a long time. And it has taken a little bit of toll on my voice, but it would have taken much more if I were trying to restrain myself. So I'm just going to mention, because after shouting for an hour about a week ago and another hour, was that yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. My voice is still in pretty good shape. And that's because I go ahead and shout. I let it all the way out. I don't try to restrain it, which is going to cause you more problems. People ask me all the time about vocal health. Now, the other thing I do, after a day like that, I take it easy. I don't say a lot. I kind of come home and I'm quiet. Drink a lot of tea with honey and lemon. So just be advised. Let's see, while we're waiting for, hey, Mark Lloyd, all the way, are you in the Philippines now? Oh, okay. Because usually you'd be in Dubai. Must be having a vacation. Sally Hewitt, oh, hey, what's going on? How's my boy, Pat? Tell him I said, hey. And someone saying something to me, well, their name is in Arabic. Hello, Dave, give us an epic voice. An epic voice. There. Wanted to talk a little bit about something that I've noticed going on in the voiceover world now. From my agents, I get auditions now that, a lot of times they either don't want you to slate, or they want you to slate at the end, or they don't want anything but a slate. Know how many, are you going to do? But even odder than that, all they want is, say, VO and your name to label the file. Now, I don't know about you, but I save the auditions I do in a file. When I do them, they automatically shoot right into that file, so I know where they are, easy to go. And if you book the thing, a day, a week, a month, 6 months later, you want to be able to go back and have a reference for what it was you did. And if you're labeling this file and the next file as VO, Dave Fennoy, well, each time your computer's going to ask you, do you want to replace that file? And you're going to, yes, replace that file. And if you then book one of the ones that was that and you've done some more, you can't find it. You don't know where it is. And actually, if it's been replaced, it's no longer on your computer. So I tell you what I do very simply is I label it the way they want, and then I save it again and put the label on it with whatever the client is. Like it's McDonald's. I'll just add McDonald's to it. So instead of VO Dave Fennoy or Dave Fennoy VO, it'll be McDonald's VO Dave Fennoy. And that way, even though the VO Dave Fennoy will disappear the next time somebody does that, I still have that file to go back to and listen. And I don't know if your world is like my world in voiceover, but you do a lot of auditions, and sometimes you kind of have a clue of what you might have done, but you might not remember, especially if you're doing a lot of character voices. If you're doing a lot of different commercials, you just want to be able to go back. I know they're going to tell you, what it was they liked about it, but you want to be able to go back and take a listen. Oh, okay, this is what booked. Not to mention, it's also a good idea when you book those things to go back and listen to that audition and try to discern for yourself what it was about this spot that they liked. And sometimes it'll surprise you. Sometimes it'll be just the simplicity and normalness of your read. You did just enough, not too much. So just one little thing that was on my mind. All right, Dean Muse, tech question, auditions, MP3. Then best to deliver finished files, WAV or AIFF. That almost goes without saying. There are some clients that will take MP3s for final product, but most of your clients are going to want a WAV or an AIFF file. I just assume if I'm doing the gig here at the house and I'm sending files, it's going to be a WAV or an AIFF. And the truth of the matter, between those two, it doesn't really matter. Everybody, send them what they want. Don't tell them, hey, it doesn't really matter. I want to send you a WAV file. I know you want an AIFF, but you can just change it to a WAV file when you get. No, they can, and it's really no effort at all. But it doesn't really matter. So use that more for you. Somebody else, you're collaborating with something, and they send you a WAV file, but you want an AIFF. You can turn it into that real easy. Hey, Melody, how you doing? Mark Aaron Gilman, greetings from Agawam, Massachusetts. When you said that Agawam there, I thought it was going to be India someplace, but Agawam, okay, Indian name. Dean, headphones, best model for recording, best for editing. Wow, are we getting that picky about headphones now? My favorite pair of headphones are not particularly expensive. I've got a set of Sony headphones that I've had for a long time. I think when I bought them, they were $5 for $99. I think they're probably about $90 each now. I'm not a fan of some of the popular headphones. If you got some Beats headphones and you love them when you jam into your jams, great. I find that they pump the bass. What I'm looking for in a headphone is accuracy. I really don't want the highs pumped. I don't want the lows pumped. I want accuracy. So you don't have to spend a whole lot of money for that. There are a number of different makers. Sony makes some decent microphones. Sennheiser, like the ones I have. Even, you can just get some Amazon headphones. You just want them to be accurate. You don't want them to color the sound because then you don't really know what you sound like. All right. Janet, would purchasing an internet program that finds the emails of those you're trying to reach be a fair investment? I have a feeling it would be a good idea. It's knowing which company offers the best, I guess. You said any question is not too stupid. No, it's not too stupid. I've been hitting the internet hard for the last 2 weeks. When we're hitting the internet hard, because it's busy work. It's detailed. It's not the fun stuff when we're trying to mine contacts. And there's different places you can try. Mandy.com, M-A-N-D-Y, Mandy.com, good place to mine contacts for voiceover. LinkedIn, of course. You can even go to Craigslist and do, say, like a nationwide search. Might people do a worldwide search? No, definitely a nationwide search. Voiceover jobs, and you can put in different things, male VO, voiceover, whatever. Just bounce a few different things that voice for this, voice for that, voiceover, VO, male VO, female VO, millennial VO, TV promo VO. See what comes up. Narration VO. See what comes up that's available. Because people post things labeled a lot of different things. But back to your initial question, would it be worth it to pay for a list that somebody has put together of people for you to contact? I have looked at those. It's been a long time. They seemed very expensive to me, and I did not trust that the companies that were putting these lists together were really circumspect in how they were determining who was somebody that I'd be interested to get in touch with concerning offering my service to them for work. So for me, the answer was no. It's been some time since I looked at that. It may be a little different now, but I still am a little suspicious of purchasing a list. Sometimes I think it's just better to do your homework. I tell you, if you're going to spend some money, want to spend some money, because you don't have time, you don't want to do that drudgery work, get an intern, get a friend, get a student, somebody else that wants to do voiceover work, and you can share the drudgery. But I'm not sure I would just fork over the 100, 200, 300, whatever it is that they want for this list of 1,000 people who are, just don't trust that list. Anyway, Chris Michaels, hey Dave, cold emailing, cold calling, postcard mailings. What would you suggest to find new clients? Also, at your level of success, do you still market yourself at least every week, or does work come in on a regular basis from previous marketing? Okay, I'm going to answer your first question, your last question first. Years ago, I think it was Lucky Strike cigarettes. That was back when everybody was smoking cigarettes, I think in the 60s. They did a little test. I think they were the number one brand or something. And they decided, some executive decided, hey, you know what? We've got our audience now. We don't need to advertise. And they just stopped spending money on advertising. And guess what? Their sales went down. Whether we like it or not, we buy the things that are advertised to us. That's what we respond to. You may not need to buy toothpaste every day, but sooner or later you're going to buy some toothpaste, and I can almost guarantee you're going to buy toothpaste that you saw advertised. Most of the things you buy, it's an advertised car, it's probably an advertised mattress, advertised clothes. Advertising works. You have to tell people you're there, and you have to keep reminding them. You don't have to tell them every day, but you do have to tell them on a regular basis. So yeah, I still market myself. But I market myself in a number of ways, and I have help doing that. I have management. I have agents. I'm here. This really isn't that much marketing for work. If it's marketing at all, and it kind of is, it's for teaching. And I am a believer in the that which you give away, it will return to you tenfold. We should all, reach out with an open hand to offer and to receive. So that's my philosophy, and it seems to have worked for me all my life. I'm not a greedy man. Um, so, yeah, you need to always be marketing, and you need to always be looking um, for another way to market. Sometimes, I just look at the history of advertising. How things are sold to the public that is purchasing now is very different than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. So you can't just come up with one thing and think that that's going to work forever. Um, you ought to market yourself effectively, truly, um, and with the idea that what you do benefits somebody. Sometimes we come with the mindset that, oh God, I want that job so bad. And I don't think we can help any of that. I still go through that. Parts will come up that, oh man, this would be great. I'd love to play this character. Uh, we can't help ourselves. But I also live in the other thing that I've been doing this a while. I've got some skills. If that part is right for me, my audition will be one of the ones that they're looking at to book. And I say it like that because there are a lot of parameters around who gets booked on what. Not all of it just was your performance really good. Generally, you're talking about a committee who's making the decision. And thinking of the number of really fine voice actors I know, I imagine for every video game, every cartoon, every narration, every commercial, that there are going to be 5 to 10 voices that could do that job. There's probably 100 that could do the job, but 5 to 10 that they run across, that show up, that end up in committee, and they've got to break it down. Well, maybe it's only 3, maybe it's 10. But they're going to have to make a decision, and it's not on, gee, did they do it right? Did they do it well? No, it's on something else. This voice speaks to me a little better than that voice. This voice is following this other voice, and if we chose that one, they'd sound too much the same. In video games and cartoons now, might even be your Twitter followers. Hopefully that's not the main thing. As a matter of fact, sometimes they've tried that and it hasn't worked. So just give it your best job. And I think I lost track of where I was going with that. Marketing yourself. Hey, Jason, thank you, man. You're so kind. You are also the man. Do you ever put any music on any of your auditions or sound effects, etc.? Many of us do that nowadays. I haven't in a long time, but I'm curious on your thoughts about it. I don't do it. Maybe it's old school. I don't do it for a couple of reasons. One, if there's music that's supposed to go with the thing, they're probably going to want to put your voice against it to hear how it sounds. For some things, if you're doing trailers or trailer-like things, they may want to cut your voice up and put it in things, and now you've just made it more difficult for them because, oh gosh, well, I got this music on here. Now, I know of some people who will play some music in their headphones that they feel gets them in the mood and the rhythm of whatever it is they're doing, and that's legit. But I don't send music. I send dry takes, and I still recommend it. There's too many reasons that music that they're not interested in, married to your VO, could be a problem. Good question, though. Real good question. Mark, what's going on, man? Hey, Dave, what about getting out of the house and meeting since I'm in LA? Shake some hands, see some faces. Where do you recommend I go? There's a radio convention going on right now. You might go over there. A buddy of mine spent a couple days here that does voiceover. And I think that starts today or this evening. But there are lots of good places. If you like to stop by and meet some folks, have a drink, go by Residuals. I confess I haven't been there in a long time, but it's a nice little bar on Cahuenga in North Hollywood, and LA is full of great spots. Good, just pick up one of the weekly LA Weekly and see where some of the hot spots are, see what some of the things that are going on, and get on out there. Let's see. Hey, Bob, what's going on? Andy, Youssef, Ryan, with having an agent, you're classified as self-employed when getting jobs on your own accord. I'm guessing you obviously invoice them and then declare it for the tax man. Oh, yeah. Well, most of the places are going to hire you. They being legit, they're going to send you a 1099. As a matter of fact, most places aren't going to pay you unless you send them the right paperwork when you bill them. I'm sure there's some places out there that, a little bit under the table here, so forth and so on. But most people that are going to pay you the kind of money that you want to get paid, everything's going to be above board and legit. So we don't really end up doing a lot of those under the table jobs. The kinds of things that I would do that you might think of as under the table, I probably am making no money on. They're probably projects of love from some voiceover friends of mine who are doing something together. Nobody's making any money. That kind of thing. I'm a great believer. Sometimes you make really good money on a project, and sometimes you give your services to a charity or a project that somebody's doing, or a school or something like that. Ryan Moundfield, with having an that's the same question. Dave, just move on, man. Colleen Cloutier. Hi, Dave. First time call. This actually isn't a call. What do we call this, by the way? I'm just streaming. This isn't a podcast. It's a. What is it? First time caller. One of my goals this year is to get into the world of video games where I can draw on my formal theater training and the love of character acting, stage, film, VO. Question is, who are the best people to contact to find audition opportunities? Game designers, producers? Okay, I'm assuming when you say that you are not represented by an agent. So going I'm doing it myself route for video games. I've mentioned this before. I would try LinkedIn and find game developers there and game writers there, game directors there, and get in touch with them with your demo and website and find out a little bit about them as much as you can. I've mentioned this before. It's not a real good idea to shotgun everything out there that, oh, wow, look, there's 500 producers of video games on LinkedIn. Let me tag them all. I'm connected with all of them. Woo-hoo. Because I know I accept people all the time, but if they send me a note, if they have something to say other than the pre-written notes that LinkedIn gives you, I'm much more likely to read that and respond. So instead of trying to I got 500 people in a day, get 10. Find out who those people are. Find out what they've done. Show some interest in them and what they do. Spend that time, do that research, and then approach them. You don't want to be the person that you got 500 people and you finally go to a couple of them. Oh, I haven't heard from you. I was hoping I can. And then they say, well, we produce games, but none of our games have voices. We've never hired voices. We're never going to hire voices. You want to find the right people. So take your time, do it a little bit at a time, and make it more personal. All right, Luc de Villars. Hello, dear Mr. Fennoy. A few colleagues and myself had to talk about voices created by computer programs. Yeah, such as Google Translate, etc. Should we be worried about the future of voice acting or voiceover? It is a bit of a sci-fi question, although the sci-fi of today can become reality tomorrow, so to speak. Wow, a lot of us have been concerned about the AI voices. Didn't stop me from becoming a Google voice, and if you've got Google Google Assistant sitting on your desk at home, you can pick the middle-aged black guy. That'll be me. One of the most interesting jobs I've ever had. Paid pretty well. I don't think it paid nearly enough for what they got, but I only have a certain amount of worry. I think there's a certain amount of work that the AI voices are going to take away from us. The things that don't require as much humanity. I have already heard from time to time, you'll go to a company's website that's giving instructions, directions, and some of those have already become AI voices. I don't think they're going to replace us as voice actors. I don't think they're going to replace us on commercials where they want to reach one human being to another human being. Hopefully I won't be proven wrong. They've gotten pretty doggone good. But what connects us as human in voiceover is not the quality of our voice, although we all know, oh, wow, he's got a good voice. Oh, man, I really love her voice. It's not the quality of our voice. It's the quality of our connection. It's the quality of our humanness. Those are the things, those intangibles that the imperfection in the rhythm of how we speak, in the finding the words we're going to use, in the inner dialogue behind what we're saying, our insecurities, our pride, our loves, our dislikes, all the things that make us up as individuals that comes out when you're doing a commercial, doing a narration, playing a character in a game, a cartoon. All those things the AI voices don't have. And until they do, and I don't think they're ever really going to have it, I think the majority of work that needs to touch human to human is going to stay with us. Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. Andy Arndt, a fabulous audiobook recorder, voice. Going to in-person events helps too, right? Absolutely. GDC, I think it's over now, but it was a game conference. I didn't go this year. A lot of people go. E3, another video game conference I typically go to, spend a day or so there. Going to, I might have been in Atlanta right now. And I have been, or at That's Voiceover, and there are a number of other good voiceover conventions to go to. And they're good for a couple of reasons. One, you will have people who have been doing this for a while, who have tips and techniques to share. When I go, I always make myself available. Yeah, I've got some workshops that I'm doing, but I like hanging out in the lobby and talking to people, and people come up and ask questions. And I always say, like this time, it's, hey, if you're going to VoiceOver Atlanta, VO Atlanta, don't just sit back and wait and watch. People are friendly. The people who are there that you want to learn from are there to interact with you. I know as a young man, a lot of times I was intimidated by people who had achieved what it was that I wanted to achieve. So I kind of make it a point now to say, look, everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. Everybody's poop stinks. Just because somebody has achieved what it is you want, don't put them on a pedestal where you can't talk to them. Go up, say hello. We all like to be recognized. Hey, Dave Fennoy or Mr. Fennoy, whatever. Love your work. I'm trying to do this, blah, 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 blah. I'm honored and happy to help. And just about everybody I know that's been doing this for any time, when a newbie or somebody that's wants to be where you are, do the same kind of thing, I don't think anybody gets upset by that. Don't be a jerk about it. Hey, hi, how are you? Can I follow you? You're going to the bathroom? I'll just come in. No. Lynn Gallagher, what's going on? Ella Holly joined. Chris Michaels, VO. Thank you for that. What would you suggest for someone who has the talent, has the coaching, have the demos, have the website, have the brand, but just can't get motivated with marketing? I have no desire to market, and that 80% of this VO gig I've signed up for. And I have no desire to market. Oh, yeah, and that's 80% of the VO gig I've signed up for. It seems like a huge problem I'm facing. How do I overcome it? Well, I don't like washing dishes, but, it's got to be done. I so understand you, Chris Michaels. I'm very much the same kind of guy. I know for a long time I always felt like I would do some marketing because I knew I had to do some marketing. But I've never been the person that just, hey, what's another slick idea for me to market myself? There's a certain part of me, and I'm sure a lot of people listening, who feel like, look, my work should represent me. But if people don't know about your work, how can it? So just make your marketing honest. You've got all the things you need there once you have marketed yourself. But I think you and I and other people who a little wary about marketing, sometimes we're going to have to talk to ourselves and overcome that. There's some things sometimes you have to do that you don't like to do. But I guarantee the average voiceover person, just somebody with limited talent, but okay talent, who markets well, will do very well. Whereas you might have, the most wonderful chops and ability to do this, that, and the other, but if your marketing is lacking, you're not going to do as much work. The market needs to know you're there. And the market is bigger now than it's ever been. There are areas in voiceover work now that just really didn't exist, say 10, 15 years ago like they do now. If you're talking about corporate narration, e-learning, explainer videos, that world will not make you famous, but it will make you some money. And that's a great place to market. And once again, what you're telling people, or what you should be telling people, is A, that you're available, and B, you can solve a problem for them. That you're going to help them with their vocal communication to the world they're trying to reach. All right. Stephen Clark, Isabella, how are you? Michael Glover, Alex. Thank you, Jason. Thank you. Love you, brother. Kimberly Jeter, Sandra Nicole, are there specific conventions or networking opportunities you would recommend? Well, one going right now at VO Atlanta. Also, I think That's Voiceover is coming back to Los Angeles this year. Wovo is very good. The other thing I would suggest is wherever it is that you're living, involve yourself in the voiceover community. Find the voiceover groups that get together, that do things. Jason Lanier White there just paid me a nice compliment. This young brother gets together and does it. I've seen him. He's put together loop groups. He gets people together to film things. He gets people together for a lot of different things. And those are the kinds of people that you want to be around. You want to be around the people who are alive, full of life in this, and are doing things and are happy and pushing forward and reaching out and touching other people and bringing them along. That's who you want to be around. Yeah, go to the conventions, but involve yourself with the people here. And it's not always just voiceover people. I guarantee there's some writers out there. There are some copywriters who'd like to hear some of the copy they're writing done so they can present it to their boss. And you don't know where those connections are going to go. Put yourself out there. Partner up with people to do different kinds of projects. It's going to be a sound guy. It's going to be somebody's studio. It's going to be, like I say, some writer, some producer. Make yourself available. All right. Hey, one of my neighbors. Hey, Pam, what's up? Darren Garman, are you incorporated? Have you experienced or heard of any liability issues voice actors have faced? I am incorporated, and no, I have not heard of any liabilities that we have faced. The reason to be incorporated is to save money on taxes. And I guess you would be insulating yourself from liability, but I don't think that's the big issue, liability. But yeah, I think incorporating is a good time. It gives you an opportunity to save more money than as an individual. You can set up savings programs for yourself as a corporation that you can't do as an individual. You can put away a lot more money for your retirement. And sooner or later, heck, dang it, all of us are going to have to retire, sit on our butts in a rocking chair. Yeah. All right. Live stream. Yeah, that's what we're doing, a live stream. Thank you, Isabel. Michael Glover, Dave, you don't know me yet, but you will. Can't wait to meet you. There we go. There we go. I was at some conference, and there was a voice guy, and he was a black guy, and he was going up to all of us black guys and voice. I'm going to be you, man. I want to be you. And I probably should have been, well, I'm not intimidated or so. And so I was honored. I felt honored. There were a couple other guys that didn't, but I thought it was wonderful. Hey, Dave, when one gets a commercial reel that isn't represented by an agent, how would one promote themselves with that if they're outside of LA? Well, I'm going to go back to, they're the pay-to-play sites, notvoices.com. That's one way. The other way, again, just do your homework. Mandy.com, LinkedIn, Craigslist. Just Google broadcast producers, commercial producers and writers, advertising agencies, and just market yourself to them. Find out who does the hiring, who makes the decisions at those advertising agencies, and send them your stuff. And of course, your website is ready, so when they get to your website, they can see the wonderful work you've done and bring you in. And, the mindset might be, oh man, they've been using all these people, and why would they listen to me? Well, you know what? They're always looking for the next big thing. They're always looking for something new. So why wouldn't that be you? Every now and then somebody discovers me. A game I'm working on right now, I couldn't believe it because I'm fairly well known in video game world. The producer didn't know who Dave Fennoy was. They hired somebody else first. Then they went for somebody who had some TV credits. And from Jump Street, the director kept saying, this part, Dave Fennoy, this part, Dave Fennoy, this. They go, Dave Fennoy, I don't know who he is. He didn't do any research. Well, none of the first two people worked. So he finally took the guy's advice. But he told me and says, man, you really are this character. And which is what I want them to say about every character I play. So keep knocking on those doors. Just because they don't know who you are now doesn't mean they're not going to find out who you are. And maybe they know. Maybe they know. They've heard you someplace, but they just don't know who you are. I mean, we're pretty anonymous in our careers. When you think about it now, there are more voice actors now who are known than ever before. There was a time when, you said Don LaFontaine, and everybody knew who he was. Well, there are many more Don LaFontaine type, not voices, but people out there. You just say Joe Cipriano, you know who he is. All right. You're welcome. Adrian, Nancy, Joshua, Ellen, Dubin, Delia, Christine, what's going on? Alina, hi, Dave. Michael Sessions, you're looking good, Dave. Wow, am I? I thought it was kind of a mess today. Nadia Ahern, hey, girl, woo, that's my voiceover back in L.A. All right, Jean-Francois, Donaldson, deep voice. What's up, Jean? Ashley Smart, Cecil, Linda, hey, how are you? Angie, Cheryl Halling, Jean-Francois. What up, Dave? Do you do a lot of mocap or just voicing for video games? I do some mocap. I do a lot more voicing than mocap. I couldn't live on the mocap money. I love it when I do it. Always feel a little funny in the black suit with the dots because I need to lose about 20 pounds. But other than that, I enjoy it. Now, one of the things, it's not mocap, but a lot of times when you're working now, they're shooting your face, and they'll put some dots on your face in a few places because they want to follow your mouth to match to the character in animation that you're playing. So it's not really mocap, but don't be surprised if that happens to you. Hi, Dave. Love that you do this. When you get an audition and they ask for a prototype, do you give them an essence of that prototype and then do another take with your own spin on it? Ooh, bravo. Great question. Great question. We see this all the time. And my favorite thing is when I'm the prototype, and whenever I get those and I audition, I never get the job. What's up with that? But I think what they're looking for is a particular feeling, not necessarily the voice of whoever it is. I know as a guy of my age and being black, I see Morgan Freeman a lot. I also know that I see Morgan Freeman a lot when it doesn't really matter what the voice is because, he crosses all the barriers. They're going for a feeling. I find it a little problematic when they only mention one voice because I think a lot of voice actors, the tendency is to, they want Morgan Freeman, so let me do a Morgan Freeman. That's not what they want. They want that kind of, what do you feel like when you hear Morgan Freeman doing his thing, when he's just talking to you? Now, he has that southern voice. That's not the voice I have. But I understand the feeling that they're looking for when they're asking for a Morgan Freeman. And that's what they want. Like I say, I always prefer it when, you'll give me a Morgan Freeman and somebody else and a somebody else and a somebody else. And from that, I can kind of pick up, they're looking for a certain feeling. And I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. You are the secret sauce. Your voice, the particular music of how you say what you say. I'm not talking about the sing-song that you make up when you think you're going to make the words do something special. I'm talking about the natural sing-song of your voice. The thing that comes out of your mouth when you're not trying to be contrived, when you're just being you. I'll throw something else out there at you. One of the things I suggest to people who are just starting out and also people who may have been doing this for a long time but feel like they haven't found their signature voice yet. take your phone, put it on the recorder when you got some friends by, some family by, when you're just hanging out in different situations, and just start recording. See what you sound like when you're in conversation with people. See what you sound like when you hang with your boys or hang with your girls, and having a good time. When you're with your family, when you're talking to a kid, what do you sound like? That, I think, sometimes is one of the harder things to do, is to really just let those words come through the real us, as opposed to this contrived character. Now, am I saying you should never have the contrived character? I wouldn't have a career if I didn't. But there are a lot of things, a lot of times, a lot of characters I've played, it was really just me. Really just me feeling the way that character felt. All right. Hey, Dave, when is your next Backyard Jazz extravaganza? Don't have the date yet, but it's coming. We're looking at late May, early June. Just got our nonprofit status. So we're going to up it. We're going a little bigger. Hopefully we can raise more money to give away to kids for educational purposes. And you will hear more soon. All right. Eddie, what's up, man? Yeah, love you back. Well, let's see. Did I miss anybody? I think I got most of the questions that were being asked there. Did I? I think so. And we're about 6:46. Oh, couple things. Next Wednesday, I won't be here. Next Wednesday, I'm going to be teaching out someplace else. I'm going to miss it. I'll miss you, but I'll be back the following Wednesday. Also, I think you can still get the deal if you go to Dave Fennoy voiceoverphd.com. You can buy the whole set of workshops and webinars that I've done over a few years. And, if you're trying to get some more Dave Fennoy, you'll get a lot of it there. And I think that will be about it, unless somebody else has one more question. Yes? No? Anyway, thanks, everybody. Glad you were here. Hope you booked that next thing, and then the one after that, and the one after that, and the one after that. And I'll see you not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that.